What's going on? It's the Rap Nerd, and I'm here to kick off my 2023 with horror as usual. A better way to do it for this guy right here. We're gonna talk about M3GAN. Now, I would classify this as a horror sci-fi slasher in a sense, just because it does deal with science fiction and the nature of this character. Boy, oh boy, I had a good time. I'm gonna forewarn anybody out there, this movie is very campy. Go into this movie thinking that. So if you're not really into camp and the way they play around with things of that nature, might not like it, but I had to let you know. That's kind of what I figured from the trailer anyway. I mean, just seeing M3GAN dance, I'm like, come on, you know what you're getting into, dog. Like, you know what you're getting into with this movie. So, like I said, it's a lot of fun. Premise of the story is this girl, for reasons that I won't say because I don't believe that was put in the trailer, she has to live with her aunt. And you can tell off bat that the aunt and niece have this strange relationship. They don't deal with each other that much and haven't dealt with each other that much. So it adds a certain context later as to why the girl starts acting a certain way as the movie goes on. With the aunt being childless herself and not really dealing with her, she doesn't really know how to deal with kids. And it just so happens that she's like this tech genius putting together these modified toys, technology related things, and she just so happened to be working on this new doll that's interacted with kids and acts like a real friend for those who are lonely. So what better thing to do with being an irresponsible guardian is you give the girl the doll so you can go do what you want to do. Now, with that being said, there's like a little layer of them trying to go deeper. It's surface level. It's a metaphor for screen time for kids, and they even mention it in the movie, so it's pretty on the nose. So I could appreciate them going for something a little more, but that's all you're gonna get. It doesn't go any further than that. All in all, it's a slash fest surrounding M3GAN. The characterization in this movie is not crazy. As you can hear, sitting here saying the aunt and the niece, you don't really care too much about anyone, just because this movie knows what it is, what it's trying to be, and I appreciate it for being that. Like I said, it gives you enough context to understand relationships, but you don't necessarily feel them. But I don't care. I'm not here for that. I'm here for M3GAN. I'm here for the stuff I saw in the trailer, and it definitely delivers on that. So speaking about M3GAN, right? Her design is so creepy. Anytime she's on screen, there's this level of uneasy just because of how she looks. You can tell her body is really human, but that face is so stone cold, even though she has these small little features. To the human eye, it just looks off. I can't remember what they said in interviews, if it was CGI or if it was a mask that they enhanced with CGI. Either way, it just looks off to the human eye. Like, you look at her face and you're like, that's not a human. So whenever she does anything, it's just creepy. And then not to mention her mannerisms throughout the movie and things that she does. Like, there's a scene when she runs through the woods that's like just, I literally was looking like it. She's creepy as hell. The design was great. We all know this film borrows from Chucky and a slew of other films, because I want to put that out there too, that this is nothing we haven't seen before, but it's a culmination of all of those things we've seen before. So I say all that to say, there's definitely Chucky in there, of course, with the doll needing to come to life and be on a murderous rampage. But I would say that M3GAN is more like the 2019 version of Child's Play, where in that version of Chucky, he really just wanted to protect Andy. You know, he wasn't sadistic as the OG who wanted to take his body. He just wanted to protect Andy, and through wanting to be a protector, he went crazy. M3GAN's the same exact way. So if you didn't like 2019, I'm pretty sure it's because of what they did to the source material, but the good thing about M3GAN is it's its own thing. You don't have anything to compare it to, you don't have anything to backtrack on, so it just works in this way, how it is. Because what they do with M3GAN, they take it a step further than Chucky in 2019. M3GAN has access to all these different AI systems, so her knowledge base is very, very vast. So it allows her to be an asshole in situations that make things worse. She uses her resources and connection to the world in her own ways when she's speaking to her victims in a roundabout sense. And it just works and makes the tension even more, because you know she's playing people like a fool. It just works, man. It works. It's fun. So like I said, it's a culmination of things. You got Child's Play in there. I would even say a little bit of Orphan, because like Orphan, you know, her being a little girl and playing this innocent role, but you know It's some evil to it. There's some of that in there. I would even say Terminator. You have to mention Terminator. Anytime you're talking about technology taking over to kill humans, ding 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 ding, Terminator. They even do a cool thing with the score that kind of is reminiscent of Terminator, and I would assume that it was done as homage. Like, you know, there are pieces in Terminator when the score ramps up and it sounds like metal hitting metal. They do that in this film, and I thought it was a pretty good nod. Also gonna forewarn you that the first 20 minutes, it takes building the story, and I appreciate it doing that. It's kind of slow, but they try to give you some type of substance, so when shit hits the fan, it all makes sense and it comes together and just works. And I feel like while it is slightly boring because you're there to see M3GAN, let's just face it, you're there to see M3GAN do her thing, and you don't really get to her within the first 20 minutes. But it helps build a story to make it coherent, and you understand why this is being done, even though some of it doesn't make total sense. You understand within context of the film. Now, another thing, I don't know if people know, but this film was PG-13, but in my opinion, it works as a PG-13 movie. While there could be scenes where it could be gorier and more bloody, I don't think the way the violence was framed and depicted in here was held back at all. You still get the point. You still feel the kills, in my opinion, especially because M3GAN, the way she kills people, she kind of takes something that they said prior and flips it back on them, or something that they did prior, she flips that back on them, and I feel like it all is symbolized in that regard. So it was effective for me. You know, I didn't need to have a slew of blood. I don't even think this film would be the same if it was overly gory. I think it got the point across well. And with it being PG-13, I feel like this is going to do good at the box office because you're going to have teenagers who can come see it, and for teenagers, this is a good joint to go see. Even for those who aren't huge horror enthusiasts, you know, the gateway horror, this is a good movie for them who don't like the craziness. You can go into this movie and have a lot of fun, have some scares, because there are some jump scares in here that some work, some don't. This works for everybody. It's pretty comedic. There are some jokes that land, some that don't. And I had a good time, man. There are issues that you can poke holes in if you wanted to, but I don't really care to get into them because, as I stated, it's not a perfect movie, and I know what it's trying to be, and I appreciate what it's trying to be. I would watch it again, especially when she gets to dancing and, you know, all this and the cartwheel. When that scene happens, it is so worth it, and it delivered on what it presented in the trailer. So for that, I mess with it. So if you've seen this movie, let me know in the comments what you think. Love it, hate it, be respectful. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy.